Page 168, Wedding March. At the top of the page, introducing a new dynamic mark for you. 2 F's. Fortissimo. It means very loud. 1 F is forte, 2 S is fortissimo. Loud and very loud. Now 2 F's is not twice as loud. It doesn't work that way. You don't double it. It's just a little louder. Because there's a 3F and a 4F and whatever, not necessarily for piano, but for some instruments it can get louder than that. So it's just very loud. And I don't know what very loud is. You'll have to decide. It depends on the situation. It's just once you decide on these dynamic levels for a piece, for this situation, for a particular time and place, you need to be consistent for the whole piece. So whatever it is for that piece. 4/4 time. We got quarter notes, dotted half notes, triplet. Oh, triplets. You gotta love triplets, don't you? I see form-wise, there's an introduction. You see on between measures 4 and 5, there's a double bar there in the second line. So you get introduction, and then the actual piece starts with a half note there on measure 5. Okay. And there is actually like a coda. A lot of these pieces put in a coda at the end. And it's not necessarily separated with a double bar. It's not labeled coda. It's just a tag at the end. But you can usually tell by listening when the piece actually ends. And the rest of it is just tail. Whatever. You'll notice that sometimes. It's nice to know what the form is, sort of. At least looking over in a general way. When it comes to interpreting it, it can affect how you interpret it. Eventually. Let's do it one hand at a time. Make sure we get these notes and rhythms. At the beginning, coming in on beat 4, because it's a pickup beat, 4 and a 1. So they went second finger here. So it's 4 and a 1, 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a. Now you can go ahead and use second finger on all of these. But I like to use different fingers because I find it more relaxing. And so I would just alternate between 1 and 2. And then again, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now when you get to 2 notes, I don't alternate fingers, just use them all. And it's this movement, it's hinging at the wrist. And then second finger. Finger coming up, and I still do a 2, 1, 2 on these single note triplets. So in measure 5 it's 1, 2, and they want 5th finger again. Yeah, I don't like using the same finger like that. I don't see anything wrong with using 4th finger. 2, because you can still reach that second, and then 4th finger again. You can do that. I would rather do that than use 5th finger on both of those. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. That's an F natural there because that sharp is only good for that measure. So and then cross over 1 and rest 2, 3. So this is the chord again. We got it all. And 4th finger again. Crossover. Measure 13. 1 and 2 and. Now you can do that. I don't like using the same finger all the time. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just prefer not to. So we could alter it. Again, 2, 1. And bring thumb down, rest. 1 and 2. I use thumb on both of those. Thumb down, rest. This measure 17. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. Now they want thumb on the, come in a little bit. Thumb here, and then cross over. Rest. During the rest, you come up. And you do some more of what we've already done. Oh, goody. Last line, our measure 29, you're up here. Because measure 28, you were here. And you simply lift up and move. It's a chord. So all of this is coda. I mean, the piece is over by now. And then finally you get bass clef down here. All right, left hand. Left hand comes in, I'll measure 4 here. And again, you can use a 2-1-2-1 or whatever, or 2. Rest, and then come down in the rest. 1, 2. It's a D sharp, A, B. 2, 3, and then thumb. So just a C chord. During the rest, come up. Do that again. Okay. On measure 13, you get the primary chords for C. This is in C major, I forgot to mention. Measure 18, it's a 4 chord. And then going on, it's here. And then F sharp. And then here. That's kind of nice. Measure 28, you're down here, 5, 7, and then 1. Then you get a treble clef, so you come up here, it's a C. Then bass clef it again. You did these, and then finally the last bit is a C way down here. 2 ledger lines below. Yeah, whatever. 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. That gets us through the introduction. Now going on, measure 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I lift up the right hand there when I play the G. 1, 2, 3 and 4. There, I lift up the G when I play the E on beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 2. So forth. I don't really know that I have to play it all for you. You should be able to read this music and get it yourself, I think. I play it all legato as best I can first, and then once I have the fingering and the rhythm and all that worked out, then I can add the articulation. We got staccatos and things stuck in. Well, there's no articulation to speak of at the beginning. You have a tenuto line under the dotted half notes there at the beginning. Hang on to that, don't cut it a little bit short. And in this book, I think they want you to put a little stress on it. Different people interpret that sign differently. But I think, well, you'd put a little more stress on it anyway. You don't need that line because it's part of interpreting music. A couple of things. One is, there are natural accents going on in music, and the strongest natural accent is the first beat of every measure. So you're going to feel a natural accent on the first beat of a measure anyway, I hope. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then the next natural accent you'll feel would be the third beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, just like a procession. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, they put a little more on it. You feel that. So you don't need a tenuto as far as stress goes. Also, when you play a longer note on piano, a lot of times, not always, a lot of times, you will play it a little louder, just to help it's got to last longer. Play it out a little more. Just because it's a longer note, you can play it a little louder. Believe it or not, that's one of the styles of interpreting, one of the guides you can use when trying to interpret music. Longer notes can be played just a little bit louder simply because they're longer. Believe it or not, that's what it is. So at the beginning, you just do that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'd do that on the third beat too. Now, play this legato as you can. 1, 2. I connect all that together with and then that's until I get to the staccato note. The left hand you can't connect because they're chords. Do the best you can. 2. a staccato. Hang on. 2. Lift up. It's the end of a phrase, like taking a breath. Going on 13. Measure 13 at it. And connect all this together in the right hand as best you can. You can't connect repeated notes, really. Do the best you can. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now that's G is a staccato. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's a staccato too. 1, 2, 3 and. I wouldn't separate that. That's more for violin bowing than connect all that together from measure 18 and 19, all that together. Now you have accents, a little extra. Let's separate them. The separating part is, again, interpretation. It's not a requirement. Some people, you need to play them a little louder because they're accented. But if you'll separate them, it helps to sort of bring out the accent. It's that's something. And then accent on measure 21. Now connect it. That is a staccato. See, over on page 68, in measure 7, there's no staccato there. But over here there is. I don't know if that's an error or if that's really what they intended. A lot of times they will change it up to be different, and a lot of times they don't. It's the same, they'll play it the same, or indicate it the same. So maybe measure 7, the G should have been a staccato, or maybe over here on measure 23, maybe the G should not be a staccato. I don't know which is which. That's between you and your teacher. But I'm just going to play it the way it's written, right or wrong. So that's it. So I'm staccato. And then going on for measure 24. Accent. So forth. And then the last line. These are all accented, a little extra, and they're... Oh, this is silly. I disagree. You don't need an accent when you have a fortissimo on a piano. And it's already very loud. And all an accent's going to do is try and make it a little louder. Very loud is good enough. Just play it very loud. The quarter note's not, but the half notes are. But it's still very loud. All these half notes are loud, accented. I just don't think you need an accent on very loud. Then we add the dynamics. Right, this is a proud piece. Loud at the beginning, wherever you think loud is. 2, 3. Now come down a little bit. Because now we're going to crescendo, and we come down so we can crescendo. That's very loud. That's your target. Don't get very loud till there. And stay there. And we're talking about that note. All these others need to be down a bit. Now decrescendo. Down to sort of loud. And that's melody. Crescendo back up to very loud. Need an accent on very loud. Just play it very loud. Come down, sort of loud. Now we have contrast. We like contrast in music, I hope. Now it's going to be soft. Not slower, just soft. Now these dotted lines going down. Let's look at this. Again, I don't know what they're thinking. They're inconsistent. The dotted line indicates the melody is changing staves. So that's all melody. That's what that dotted line means. That's well the half note then, they're telling you the first note there. The G is also melody. okay. Doesn't help a lot, because unless you can bring out one note when you play a chord, make one note louder than the others. In this G chord, can you make the G louder than the others? Put more weight on the G. Try and get them down at the same time. Then, unless you can do that, it doesn't matter. You just play the C chord. Don't worry about the melody. But then in other places, they have the same passage, but they don't give you a dotted line to tell you what's going on. Look up measure 7 here. That's melody. There's no dotted line going down there to tell you what's going on. So, and that's melody. So they're inconsistent with the dotted line thing, but in case you're wondering what that is, it's just telling you the melody went down there. A lot of places they don't tell you, you have to figure it out. And you figure it out simply by listening to it and what it sounds like. Where did the melody go? Where is it? You have to go hunt for it. I've done that a lot. But here they're telling you. This is measure 14. Now this is soft, remember. Now we're going to start growing up until measure 18. We get to medium louds. Don't get medium loud until that half note on measure 18. So we're still, this is sort of soft. Now medium loud. That B on measure 20 is melody in the left hand. Can you bring that out? Well, there's another way to do this. There's no rule that says if the notes are in the top staff, the right hand has to do it, and the notes are in the bottom staff, the left hand has to do it. Some teachers actually teach that. There's no rule says that, and I certainly don't teach that way. If it's more convenient to play a note in one staff with the other hand, I do it. On measures 19 and 20, here. I want that B, my thumb is there. Why not just do it? So I'll just play the D and the G with the left hand, and I'll play, because that's melody. It's easier for me. So I'm going to play that B with the right hand. Here, and then lift up. Because the phrase ends with that. These are pickups to here. So I recommend playing the B with the right hand there. And it's easier too, because you can bring it out that way. So again, starting at measure 17. Remember, we're sort of loud, or sort of soft in here. We're crescendoing. Now we're moderately loud. Crescendo up to very loud here. That top note is very loud. And that E and measure 24, that is melody. And again, we're very loud here anyway, but when you start these eighth notes, come down to about a moderately soft and crescendo back up. So, you gotta have a crescendo there. You're not gonna crescendo from very loud, so you gotta come down so you got room to go back up. So on measure 24, the half note, the E, that's very loud, and then come down. You may have to practice that crescendo. Up to very loud. Now come down to about a moderately loud. And then for the coda, the last line, it's just very loud. Everything, there's no melody here. It's just chords. 3, so forth. That's the dynamics. Get to know it well enough where you can start feeling these dynamics. Speed-wise, it's a march. Left, right, left, right. And out of habit, I tend to do these triplets with 3, 2, 1 because that's what I'm accustomed to. So I'll probably just do that out of habit. But you don't have to. You can do. I don't recommend using the same finger if you don't have to. You can if you want to, I guess. But I don't. I do a 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can find recordings of this, the orchestra playing it. different speeds, experiment with it. It has to be accurate, and that's more important than speed. Then they add pedal to connect it together and add overtones because we want a full sound here. And it's overlapping pedal, but we want to hear the staccatos, and we don't want to get it too blurry. So at the beginning, now it comes out loud, so I'm going to push the pedal down right with the notes. It's a, and hold it down. It's overlapping, so the pedal, notes go down first and then the pedal. Right there, I'll measure 6, lift it up right after I play the first beat. So I want to hear the... Here, now you can pedal this. I would prefer to hear the staccatos myself, so I don't think I would pedal 8, measure 8. Measure 9. And on the last measure of the page, this is measure 12 here. I pedal that more to connect the notes. I want to connect it, and I need the pedal for that. Then at the top of page 169, I'm pedaling as it's shown more to connect the notes than anything else. But it's nice to have the overtones for a measure and then no overtones. And then overtones, and it kind of goes back and forth. It's a nice contrast here. This is soft. We're doing it at the beginning. Here, I would not pedal measure 24. I want to hear the staccatos. And I would lift the pedal at measure 28. Lift it with the hands, because it's the end of a phrase. Before we do the coda, like taking a breath. Just lift the pedal with the hands, and then here you're going to pedal the whole coda. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And at the end, the coda, fermata, hold that out, and then lift the pedal and the hands at the same time. And when I do this with a metronome, I'll just double that and hold it for 6 counts instead of 3. Yeah. But otherwise, you feel it, how long to hold it. There's no set time to hold it. And that's my impression of it. It's boisterous, it's loud, it's a happy piece. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. And I can do the dynamics. I'm going to play it all about the same. We just want to check notes and rhythms, and we're going to go real slow. I will do the staccatos though, and the pedaling as I've tried to explain it. I'm actually pedaling it very close to the way they're doing it and showing it. So I'll give us 3 counts because we come in on beat 4. 1 and 2 and go and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2, 3 and 4. 3,